So I recently actually wrote a post about it. I'm not sure if you got a
Yeah,
chance to go through it,
yeah.
but prototyping is a big kind of term, is a very popular term in
Oh,
product management at least, and probably in other fields too. But it's an activity that we do a lot. And I can dive deeper into, like why we do it and what it actually is.
uh,
But I actually proposed in my post, and there's something I wanted to kind of get your thoughts on and talk about today, is that we should actually use prototyping in our actual lives as well,
oh,
not just
uh,
in, like in some product management kind of, task we're doing or some project or, just in our professional life. I think it has very good applications in our life, and you may even have done it before, but maybe there wasn't just a
yeah,
term for it, right? So first, like, let me just explain, like what prototyping is,
yeah.
right?
Uh,
So, prototyping is basically trying to come up with a lean way to test something before you kind of dive deep into it, right?
uh,
So, let's say, like if I want to create, there's a very nice kind of image that, and it's almost a meme that's been used in various posts before. Where, like, if you want to create a car, your initial kind of prototype might be creating
uh,
a, like a skateboard
well,
and
that's
seeing
Lego.
if you can do that.
Uh,
Yeah, or
Lego.
that, right? Like, so you create a prototype in the form of a Lego, and then see, like, okay, what are the
Uh,
things that stand out, and what are the things that I need to fix before going into the full development of an actual kind of the actual product,
uh,
right? So it's a quick way to test something,
uh,
get some initial insights, and then go from there, right? Like, use those insights to maybe improve on the decision that you're making or just have more confidence around it.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So,
I
yeah.
think I can come up with like 50,000 examples, but I think you made that you didn't want to make that big leap before you went to Dubai. You had some kind of top plan in there.
Yes, yes, indeed. So that's one of the examples that I talked about in my post too, but I can elaborate more here, right? So I basically wanted to consider kind of, moving to one of the GCC countries for my own self, for my kind of own product management career, but then also for my wife who wanted to kind of do practice here. She's a doctor, right? So, but the thing is that moving countries is a huge cost. People actually underestimate the amount of cost it takes because they think that, it's going to be the initial flight cost, the visas, and like maybe the rental cost, but it literally, you keep spending for the next 6 months of your life when you move countries,
Mm,
and that overall cost amounts to a lot, right? So what I wanted to make sure is, like, I wanted to see how I can prototype that decision.
uh,
And for
mm,
that, I literally took a visit visa. I tried to go for a multiple entry one, and me and my wife just went to Dubai for around 2 weeks, and we
okay.
just stayed here. We visited Abu Dhabi, we visited Sharjah. We were in an Airbnb, so I had chats with the Airbnb folks on what the rentals are like, about the neighborhoods.
Yeah,
While I was in Pakistan, neighborhoods like Al Barsha, like downtown, Business Bay, all of this was just, like another language for me.
uh,
But when I was there, I was able to see, right, like how far exactly is Al Barsha from downtown? How far, is it from the airport? What does it look like? How different are these neighborhoods
yeah,
from one
yeah.
another? I mean, Google Maps can only do so much, right? Like, how much can you
Oh
actually
no,
see
I
these
don't trust
images on
Google
Google?
Maps. Let's add 50 more minutes on top of that.
Exactly, right. So it's and I mean the traffic situation in Dubai specifically is almost as bad as Karachi, I would say. Right? Like, so in Pakistan. So I took some kind of, insights from on various things, on residential kind of areas, on how the neighborhoods are, even on, the types of jobs that are available, and talking to people who are actually working there since a few years, how their kind of career trajectory look like.
yeah,
And obviously, I enjoyed a lot too. Like that was one important part, which is, what do you actually have that you can do in the UAE, right?
yeah,
Especially in summers, like what can you exactly do? Like, is it going to be an isolating experience? Is it going to end up like that? So that gave me a lot of data points, and it gave me the confidence to actually make the move later on. And I'm pretty sure that, and by the way, my budgeting move was significantly impacted by the data that I got from this visit. Like some things were cheaper, some things were more expensive. Some things I thought, maybe I should prepare a bit more before I make the move for them. Other things I was pretty chill that, this is going to be super easy. I just get, rental agreement is going to be super easy to get. So all of that I feel made my move a lot more successful and a lot less stress as well in making the move just because I prototyped the decision beforehand. So yeah, like Kala, my question to you is, do you have something similar as an example where you might have done this? Maybe you didn't call it a prototype, but you may have done something similar.
yeah. At the back of my mind, I think this seems like a big new term, but it's not so new because designers, product managers, engineers, they use this word all the time that before we
Yep.
build something big, let's start small and build it from there or kill it if it's not working, right? So I have this example where I use this word for my clients because if they are applying for a PhD program, there's an entire book I have been reading that you should prototype your study abroad experience first because PhD is a very big commitment, right? You can't just jump into a 5 year long, a 7 year long program. Maybe do an international
Yeah.
master's and then think
But
from
like,
there. Yeah.
but how would you prototype that? Because like PhD is a big commitment, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm
I
just
think
thinking, what would a prototype for something that significant in investment look like?
Yeah, I think they should just kind of apply for scholarship program and go through the application, start with a small application, test out if you have the competency, do you have enough experience, are your ideas appealing to the admission committee, just prototype your application first, and if not enough depth is there, why don't you do something more with your career or extra project, add more value there, then iterate
Mm.
and come back to
Yeah.
significantly challenging application or like more competitive application. So we have never thought
Yeah.
about prototyping your application from this point of view. And personally, honestly, I started my business at the worst time in our human experience. That was COVID. Who launched a business during COVID, right? It's the time to lay
Mm.
low. There are so many, lives being lost. We start a business that way. But I prototype way before I officially launched my business. I think I was doing really well with freelancing on top of my full-time job. So that freelancing got me thinking
Mm.
that I'm actually good at one or two things. Why not try it out to the general public, right? The people I
Mm.
don't know. But actually, a good thing came out of this that people respond and help me devise my business model better. I mean, they helped me launch my business. I think that's one
Mm.
example I can come up with. Yeah.
Yeah. And just to kind of build on your first example where kind of tell your tell new aspiring candidates for PhDs or masters to try to prototype first. Apart from the application, another way they can possibly prototype that your decision is by doing maybe a smaller project with the
Yeah.
university or with one of the faculty members first before kind of going in for a 5 year program.
Yeah.
I mean, it may have been more difficult to do that when remote wasn't really a thing a few years ago.
Yeah.
But now I'm imagining there might be, like smaller projects that faculty members might be more comfortable offering
Yeah.
to, good candidates
Yeah.
out there, right?
Are you
So,
are you trying
yeah,
to
that's
take
an
my
interesting
job
one.
here? Because I feel like you know
No way.
consulting better than me. This came to me right now.
This is the most value I can add.
Yeah.
If somebody wants more
So I
details, they
appreciate
should
that.
contact Khaula Consultancy, please.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
But anyway,
Uh,
Now I need some payment for doing this promotion for you.
oh yeah, we can talk about payment in a while. Yeah, we are doing unpaid promotion for you.
Yeah. So and then your second one was very interesting because you did your you kind of prototyped your professional decision as well, right? And it's something similar to what I did as well. Like we were just talking about remote, and back then in COVID, I also wanted to see how a remote job might work out for me. And
Yeah.
I also prototyped that decision by doing a much smaller gig, like which was almost a part-time job, I would say, and it was remote. And I tested out how that might work before jumping on to a remote opportunity where I knew I would have to stay a few years because it was a startup. And like, if you join a startup, you want to work on the 0 to 1 and then take it from 1 to 10. You can't really leave in the middle, otherwise like all that effort kind of goes to waste. So before jumping into that, which lasted around like 3 4 years at least, I prototyped that decision as well, and saw how working remotely would look like as a PM, can I even do that, right? So there are lots of applications for prototyping, Hola, right? It's just a very beautiful concept that I feel is gonna stay around. And by the way, it's actually getting supercharged now because of AI. Like, I'm not sure if you know, but there are AI prototyping tools out there like Lovable, Reply,
Yeah, you're
that
right.
make it even easier, at least for in our kind of field in product management, to test out ideas with the actual audience, not just like images and designs, but actual products, almost in the form of an MVP, by putting in very less effort compared to like creating something from scratch. So this concept is only getting more common and easier to kind of implement. And I do hope that people apply this concept in more fields, not just in their professional lives. Just to conclude, Kola, what would you say? What would you advise our kind of audience to do? Like, what would be a good entry point for them to try a prototype?
Yeah. I think whatever idea is coming to your mind, the one that you want to make a big leap, before you do that, or in like spiritual terms, we say, you make a prayer to send out to the universe, something like that. But before you do test out something within your community, anything. It could be if you want to launch a business or you want to change your apartment, maybe try living there like an Airbnb, or if you want to room with a roommate, maybe be friends with them for a bit longer time, get to know them in different social settings, invite them to like home setting and try it out. I think if you want to try that, apply this model for anything that you want to try out, even if you fail, because it's not failing, you are killing the idea before it actually
Yeah.
fails, right? Yeah,
And the point is that you want to do it in a very low risk scenario, right?
yeah,
Like, or low risk environment. So even if you fail, it doesn't really kind of cause any harm,
yeah,
because that's the point. You want to quickly check if something is possibly going to work or not,
yeah.
and then kind of take the bigger decision or not take it based on the results of the.
But I remember earlier we used to feel so like hurt by the rejection coming out of a failure. This way you can kind of experiment with the rejection and maybe emotionally regulate yourself better.
Yeah, definitely.